Hello everyone, this is your host Rohan. I welcome you to our podcast on CI/CD evolution, Jenkins to Jenkins File to Jenkins X. I have our guest named Mr. Nilesh with us, who is currently working with Calsoft as a technology lead. Nilesh comes with more than 12 years of experience in DevOps domain. He is specialized in CI/CD and been involved with various complex projects at Calsoft. Hello Nilesh and welcome.
Hello everyone, and thanks Rohan for such kind words.
So, Nilesh, let's get started.
Sure.
Could you let us know more about your overall journey with DevOps and what does interest you in the CI/CD evolution?
I have been a DevOps engineer for quite a long time now. I have worked extensively on CI/CD technologies, and it's very amusing for me to observe CI/CD evolve. And definitely, this evolution has made our lives a lot easier. So, in today's podcast, we would like to talk about these evolutionary changes. Hence, today's topic is CI/CD evolution, Jenkins to Jenkinsfile to Jenkins X. One caveat by the way. We surely acknowledge that there are many other good tools like Travis, Bamboo, Gitlab, etc. etc. However, here we will discuss mainly Jenkins just for the simplicity, since it is one of the most popular CI/CD tool. Hence, we will take its use case to discuss how CI/CD has evolved.
So, without further ado, let's dive in.
Sure. So, in my opinion, there were two very important milestones in CI/CD journey of Jenkins. To explain this better, let's take use case of client we work for. We used all three phases for them, which were first standard legacy Jenkins, then we eventually graduated to Jenkins File, that was first milestone, and then now we are currently using Jenkins X, which is second milestone. And we will of course discuss all these value additions. Will that work, Rohan?
Sure, Nilesh.
So we have this client who had a complex product with many interdependent modules. We used GitHub for SCM. We had almost 100 GitHub repositories for each of these modules. We needed to build all these modules, and typically output of one module was consumed by another build.
A CI/CD pipeline.
Exactly, yeah, typical CI/CD pipeline. So let's start with phase 1, legacy Jenkins. We used that around 3 years back. This is what it used to do. We will have a build jobs to build all these 100 modules. Each build job will typically point to certain release branch of GitHub repository. It will compile that repository branch and create output artifact. And this artifact might be consumed by another build job. So anyways, this is what primarily Jenkins does.
But you said you had almost 100 code repositories. So, did you have to maintain 100 build jobs for all those?
Yes, and that was super tedious. For every release, we'll have to take these 100 build jobs and make changes for new release branch. Trust me, it was a pain. Still, we had some backdoor automation which probably saved time, but it was basically some hacks and not very elegant. And also consider this scenario. If developer is working on a defect on a feature branch, him or myself being Jenkins admin manually had to create a job for that feature branch. And all these things were eating up our time unnecessarily. Fortunately, this was the point where Jenkins File was launched and we adopted to it.
Okay, so how did it help you?
Let me explain. Let us assume you have to create a build job for a certain GitHub repository. So earlier, you will create a new build job in Jenkins UI and put configuration. For example, Maven targets to compile, post build step to send email if build fails, etc. etc. With Jenkins file, you will write those same configuration steps as a simple groovy code and check in this Jenkins file as a code in your repository. And you will give your Jenkins only repository details and no branch details as earlier.
So if you create a new branch, how will it be built?
That's the beauty of Jenkins file. As long as any new branch has Jenkins file, Jenkins will take that Jenkins file, gather its build configuration details, and will create a build job for you for that specific branch. So, all you have to do is create Jenkins file in master branch. And then whoever creates a new branch, either new release branch, it can be, or by release managers, or developers working on feature branches, jobs are created for you in automated fashion. Let me explain. It's something like this. So if you see over here, this is my open source GitHub repository, which has number of branches. If you see over here on the right hand side, it would say developers feature branch 2, developers feature branch 1, and quite a few branches, right? And on your left hand side, if you see, it's my Jenkins setup, and all these build jobs, each build job is associated with certain branch. Exactly, say, I mean, the mapping is same as the branches on my GitHub repository, right? But all these branches, all these build jobs, I have not created on my own. Jenkins created it in automated fashion for me. It knew there was a Jenkins file in that certain branch, and that's why it just went ahead and created that job for me. That's the best part.
So Jenkins file was the first milestone in the evolution.
Exactly. Yeah, and this really made CI/CD easy for us. Essentially, that means you convert your build pipeline to code. As long as you have Jenkins file in your repository build job, in your repository, build job will be created for you automatically. And of course, it will have all benefits of code, right? Like version control, etc. etc. This took CI/CD to new level, and that was first evolution according to me.
So what circumstances led to the second evolution? Can you explain that a bit?
Sure. See, Jenkins file made handling build jobs for large number of branches easy, agreed. But still, you had to create and maintain your Jenkins setup, right? For example, get a machine, installing Jenkins, configuring your access and users for Jenkins, installing all the needed plugins, then also adding some webhooks to all these source code repositories so that repositories can tell your Jenkins setup to fire build whenever there is a change, etc. But now imagine a complete Jenkins setup out of the box, taking care of all the above things with the builds running. How cool that would be?
That would be great, but how?
That's where Jenkins X came on horizon very recently. Let me elaborate. Whenever we set up CI/CD, we manually set certain environment, right? As I mentioned before, we set Jenkins machine, repositories to store artifacts like Nexus, also connections to code versioning system in form of webhooks, etc. But recently, cloud and containerization technologies has made it super easy to set up environments. Hence, setting up your CI/CD is a perfect use case for containerization technologies. And that's exactly Jenkins X does. It's a CI/CD platform which leverages containerization. All your CI/CD is set up on cluster of containers, and management of all these distributed setup is totally automated by Kubernetes, which is container orchestrator.
Very well.
In simple words, I can run a simple Jenkins X command and it installs Jenkins machine, sets up build jobs, and does your application builds, also set up build artifact repositories, make connection to code versioning systems, all these things.
And all this is created by Jenkins X.
Yes, and please note, it will create Jenkins file for you as well, which was our first milestone. So it includes Jenkins file and takes whole automation even further. Going back to our real world client use case. So Jenkins file automated setting build with many repositories with many branches for certain client. Good. But now, while Jenkins X came in, it automated the creating setup for all the new clients and new projects. So personally, as a DevOps engineer, I found this very exciting. Let me just show you a quick snapshot of Jenkins X in action.
Sure.
Right. So over here, if you see again on the right hand side is my GitHub open source repository, and on left side, if you see Jenkins IP is a free node IP, public node IP on cloud, and all this Jenkins setup. Best part is I just ran a Jenkins X command. I never had to install Jenkins or set up plugins or set up this whole Jenkins system. Jenkins X set it up for me on a containers on cloud system.
So all this Jenkins setup and builds are made in automated fashion, right?
Precisely. So I just use Google Cloud for this example, and it was set up by running Jenkins X command. It set up a Jenkins in automated fashion for me.
Great, but example you showed is with public GitHub repository. Will Jenkins X work with private enterprise GitHub?
Yes, very much. You can always give your private GitHub URL and it will work just the same.
Great. It's an interesting milestone, I guess.
It is, and very user friendly. Personally, I would recommend if you have cloud access, then leverage that and use this automation than creating CI/CD setup from scratch.
Great. Thanks a lot, Nilesh, for the interesting inputs.
Most welcome.
Thank you all for your time. We'll keep coming up with such interesting topics in our upcoming podcast. Meanwhile, if you have any queries, feel free to log on to www.calsoft.com or write us at marcom@calsoft.com. This is Rohan with Nilesh saying goodbye for now.
Goodbye. Thanks.
Thank you.